Yep. How are we doing, my dear children of the apocalypse? Welcome back to the 52 weeks of self-improvement, and welcome to I Don't Care. And there are some things that I don't care about. In fact, maybe that's a bit hypocritical, because I, for one, am very self-aware of the fact that I'm an extremely opinionated person. I have a lot of opinions, and I love sharing them with others. You know, one of my favourite pastime activities for the past couple of months has actually been going on dates and then just giving them some of my opinions and seeing how they react to it. And you're learning this way, you're also spreading some information. Sometimes you're able to give somebody something good, sometimes they give you something good back, and sometimes the engagement is just negative. And in those cases, I don't care. 2 weeks ago, I uploaded a video titled The Two Types of People and How to Deal with Them. And I gotta say, not my proudest of titles, but I had to come up with something that wasn't 100% clickbaity. I would have said like luck doesn't exist, or stop using luck as an excuse. Maybe that would have been a better title. Today, I want you to learn something about me that I've actually never spoken about. And you should know it because I've used it throughout the career as theOrangeDoom, right? Throughout the character build. And it made a jump into my life. And I realized it's bloody amazing. And that is that I just don't fucking care. Honest to God, I don't fucking care. We live in a world, you know, when I started doing YouTube videos, this was back in 2015, you know, freedom of speech was at its peak. You could say, you know, all the bad words, the N-word, completely fine. You know, if you just slide it in there like, oh, what's up, I can't even dare say it now, even though it's in a playful context. Even though the fact I'm just describing a thing that happened in the past. It's like you can't do those things anymore. You know, like we're constantly being put into a little box, and that box gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and sooner or later we're going to start to feel the pressure because the heat in the box is going to start to build up. Anyway, I digress. I'm rambling on here. I don't care about a lot of things. You know, number one, I don't really care what people think about me. That's such a big advice I can give to anybody. Just stop caring. We care way too much. What you post, what you write, how people might perceive it. Who the hell cares? You know what? I'll give you a challenge, actually. Go on like 5 or 10 Tinder dates and do it without caring. Just show less care. Just do it as a social experiment. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that you're going to be left sitting alone at the table. The best thing that can happen is you're going to have a fun time. So sometimes, right, sometimes it's good to just not care. But to circle back to the video that I made, I said I believe there's two types of people. You've got the lucky people and the unlucky people, the disciplined and the undisciplined. And the comments, they all went for this weird, I call it the effect of not all exes are like this. And I'll flash a graph on here. This is the classic case. This is where, you know, let's say you were to talk to your parents, right? Your parents know nothing about crypto. And you were like, Mum, Dad, you know, I'm actually really thinking about going into crypto, and I want to invest my $2,000 that I've got. You know, I've saved over the summer holidays, and I want to invest into crypto. Your parents will pull out this card, right? Not all exes are the same, and they're going to say, well, we know of a friend who knows a friend who's a friend of a friend whose ex-boyfriend's neighbor once tried something in crypto, and now they're in jail. And they're going to make that deduction fly all the way across all those people and relatives, and just assume that the same can and will happen to you, right? Sort of like Murphy's Law. And we do these things for everything. You know, we always pull out but I know somebody who's not like that, right? I know somebody who's the different. I noticed this thing, you know, I once went through a really painful breakup. I'll never forget this. And as soon after the breakup was done, I went on Google, and I was like, how do I get my girlfriend back, right? Every guy's done that. Here's what I found funny. And it didn't click to me until years later. But I was there on page 13. I was on page 13 of Google trying to find one post where there was at least one person with a somewhat similar story that didn't end with, you know, hey, maybe it's not a good idea for you to try to get back together with an ex. But I was determined, and I was looking for the answer that I wanted to hear. And what ended up happening is, there I was, page 13 on some Ask Yahoo, Whelp, whatever bloggy thing where it was just one guy who was like, yeah, I kind of got back together with my girlfriend and I was happy, you know. And I think we're doing the same. That, let's agree, that's dumb. It's dumb to just ignore all the generally good information and try to find the one that falls in line with your thought process. And you know what I really wanted to point out was, I'm actually really happy with those comments. You know, back in my day, back when I was still doing YouTube videos, I think those comments would have annoyed me because it would have been like, these are people that don't agree with me. That hurts me because that hurts my ego because I'm convinced that I have it right, and you know, among those lines. And then a switch happened. You know, I'll never forget. I said to myself, and this will be an entirely different video, but I think if you surround yourself with people that only agree with you, you're in the wrong place, and you should get the fuck out of there as soon as possible. Do not surround yourself with people that just agree with you. And that's why I love you. I love you all because you go into the comments, you're like, actually, you know, you got this bit wrong. I love that. That's the whole freedom of speech that got me into YouTube in the first place, is people's ability, anonymous or not, you know, friendly or unfriendly, evil or good, I don't really care. Whatever your intentions are, I don't care. But the fact that you can go into the comments and write something, you know, maybe it's constructive, maybe it isn't, maybe it's a joke, you know, maybe it's some dude that can't even write, maybe, you know, maybe you're foreign, maybe, you know, all these things combined, they're beautiful. And that's why I love this platform, talking to this tiny GoPro about whatever really comes onto my mind during that week. And some people like it, some people don't, some people unsubscribe, and I don't care. You know, there's this weight that fell off my shoulders the minute that I stopped thinking, oh, what are people gonna think about me saying something bad about some vehicle in War Thunder? What are they gonna think about this rational take on how to do this and I don't really care. And frankly, at some point, I think during the content creation phase, when I was still playing War Thunder, I didn't care either. And I think maybe that was one of the tricks why I got relatively far, is because I didn't let the opinions of others that often were negative of me get the better of me. You know, it's almost like you're going against the stream. You know, you're one of the few people that have chosen a different approach to life, a different approach to dating, a different approach to hunting for a job, a different approach at solving a problem, anything. You know, this is often the case. It's often the case that in a group of people, you're going to find one or two, maybe three individuals that are just like, you know what, I'm going to do this my way. And most of the time, they fail. That's true. Yeah, they do. I bet you the statistics for a lot of people doing things opposite end up in them just ceasing to exist. But there's a fun in it. There's a challenge in it. And I've always loved, you know, there's something about, you know, turning back towards the group and thinking, I told you so. And maybe that is a tangible amount of ego that requires a release. But the overall portion of everything that I've ever done in life has been different, attempting to be unique, but 100% to be genuine. There is this inherent drive in me to always be genuine, to be that person that does things the way they want to do it, not because society forced them to do it, not because it's written in some book, not because it's, you know, told by some content creator or a podcast or whatever, but because it's genuinely that you feel that way and you have to do it. And I'll be honest, it's made me do some really dumb things, you know, from deleting a big portion of my YouTube content several years back, from, you know, doing a lot of things within my relationships during dating, you know, before, during, or after, really, big mistakes. Hell, even family interactions. You know, I've done some things within my own family that I'm not particularly proud of. Right? There's some stuff that I've done in the business world, in my work, in my career, that I'm not 100%, you know, comfortable with. I wouldn't even want to share it, to be honest. And a lot of it came from my genuineness. And so, you know, are you always going to be a perfectionist? Are you always going to find the correct way to maneuver through all the obstacles? I don't think so. I also wouldn't want to take the approach of just, you know, running through everything and destroying, you know, creating this, being like a meteor and just destroying everything in your path. But I do think that the attitude of, I don't really fucking care, is one that we can implement to those obstacles where it really just doesn't fucking matter. And you just jam right through it and you get through the obstacle realizing that it was just easier. Right? Sometimes it's just easier than it is to try to make your way around. Maybe this is a person that you can't be bothered to really explain something to, and you just decide, you know what, I'm just going to remove myself from the picture. Because there's two ways we can solve this, and this really does boil back to what I was talking about, the two types of people. You know, if I'm surrounded by a person or several people that I deem unlucky, that I deem unsuccessful, that I deem are on the wrong path, of course, there's this genuine desire for me to help this person out. Let's say I've got a best friend, right? And he's got a problem, right? This could be anything, but let's say he's got one specific problem that I believe I could help him solve because I've had a similar problem and I've solved it in my own way. So I could try to help him, but that will take time, effort, dedication, perhaps money. You know, it will take a lot of stress off of me. Maybe grey hair will start. And after all that, it's not guaranteed he's actually going to do it. So I think from a genuine standpoint, what is better to do is demonstrate and do not explicate. What does that mean? My friend's got a problem. I want to show him how to be better, how to fix the problem, or that the problem even exists. I will actually move myself out of the picture and I will show him that it can be done. And then it's down to him, because it's always been down to him, right? If you want to change, it's up to you. If I want to change, it's all in my head. If I'm not willing to change, if I'm not willing to make the effort, it really doesn't matter. And so, yes, I stand behind it. I do, and I will remove myself from lives of people that do not influence me in a positive way. I will make my best effort to surround myself with people who have a similar thought process, not the same thought process. I will surround myself with people who disagree with me on a regular basis, but also ones that can have a debate, hold their arguments, and with whom, at the end of the day, you can have a beer, a laugh, and just a good interaction with. And for those of you who are still content with helping these people, hand in hand, day by day, hour by hour, I commend you. I think, and probably I'm right, you're doing this because that's genuinely what you want to do. That's your genuine personality. Those are your genuine traits. And if you're happy doing so, don't stop. You know, don't stop because I told you so. But if in the moment when I told you to not do it, you had a moment you're like, wait a minute, maybe I should try it. What's the worst that can happen? Because I've done both things. And I've realized that the easiest one you can do is just take one step, and cheerio, we'll catch you in the next one.